Welcome back to the It's Bigger Than Me podcast. I'm your host, Molly Trotter Gomez. So excited for another amazing author from this incredible best-selling book, Restore My Soul. There are so many amazing stories in here, stories of redemption, deliverance, and hope. And I'm very excited to have Miss Nicole Gribstad here on the podcast today. In her particular chapter, talks about the lover of my soul. But before we dive into her experience, what's that about? Nicole, welcome to the show. And for just a couple minutes here, share a little bit more about who you are.
So great to be here with you, Molly. Thanks for having me. I am a Deliverance spiritual warfare coach. Pretty much in lay terms, it means trauma recovery coach to help people to recover from any trauma to anything that is a stronghold of theirs to release so they can continue to thrive in everything the Lord has called them to do.
I love that. I love that. Well, let's dive into what your chapter is about. First of all, let's kind of talk a little bit like, what's the story? Like, what is your story inside of this book? And, what prompted you really writing this chapter that's titled Lover of My Soul?
Well, it caused a lot of reflection. It took reflection to do that healing work because I do healing for others. It's usually heal people. So it really caused me to go deep to say, where are places that I might still need healing in order for me to understand how to have the Lord use me to heal other people. So it was a challenge to me to dig deep for places that I didn't even know I need healing. So in the process, what it was I had intended for different topics to write initially, but then the Lord revealed to me and nudged me. It's like He wanted me to write on this instead. Topics I was very resistant to because it was an area of life I realized I was guarding and protecting. It's like, oh, not here. Nobody goes here. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yes.
like quite a challenge. There was even a time when I had to take a break. From when I started writing, it got difficult. So I actually took a two or 1.5 week break where people was like, come on, Nicole, we need the versions. But like it was just, I was like, what do you call it? Struggling, wrestling in places I really did not know I was wrestling with. And I didn't know that I was not intentionally, but unintentionally not letting the Lord inside. So in this process, what the Lord revealed to me is like there were pockets of things that I actually was not letting him in, like unbeknownst to me, like in the subconscious, that it was so traumatic, which as a coach, I know that in trauma, somehow it gets buried beneath and it's just guarded, like it gets into the subconscious that you're no longer conscious of it. But
Yes.
I had not known. So it was nice of a reveal to me and it was a delight because it gave opportunity for me to do that exact thing of restore my soul, which only the Lord knew.
Yes. Well, gosh. I mean, I've been hearing such a crazy, just powerful theme from all of the authors of just that deeper reflection, going back there for yours, digging a little bit deeper, not really sure what's there, but just being open to what's next. And I mean, it's so relatable. Like, you're like, I got to take a break. I need to take a break. Time out. Hold on a second. Let me collect myself and, really just being able to gather because this is something that is so deep and so personal. So
Mhm.
throughout your experience with just digging in deeper, or maybe even writing the book, first of all, let me ask you this: have you ever written anything before? Ever written a book before?
Yeah, this is actually my fourth anthology
Oh,
bestseller. So
cool.
the Lord has really brought me kind of like breadcrumb, leading me, Nicole, do this, do this. So he's leading me to, I believe, ultimately my own books of my own.
Very cool. So since you, and I just was like, I feel like maybe Nicole's probably written something before. So with your experiences in the past compared to this one, what would you, not a comparison, but what would you say if there's any differences from this experience? Because I know just by page, flipping through this book, reading these stories, I mean, it is just so, there's so much healing on each page. And so how would this story that you shared, or maybe even this book that you're a part of, differ from other anthologies that you've been a part of?
I would say it differs tremendously in that in the other ones, it was a bit of an overview, shorter version of how the Lord's been working in my life and more of an encouragement. This particular one here was myself. For Nicole, for things I did not know I was grappling with, that I needed to grapple with, that I still need to wrestle with the Lord. So I totally wrestled. In this one, in this particular, very unique to this book, there was an all-nighter that was had. You guys didn't know that. I sat And the Lord orchestrated for moments where I was left alone in the house, where it was just me and him. There was tears involved, lots of crying, lots of wrestling. And I had to park myself because I can see that the enemy was trying to distract me still, that I couldn't think straight. So that because once I felt that, I made it determined to park myself, that I'm going to sit here and I'm not going to move out of this bed. I told my family, Mom is not going anywhere, nowhere. And let me just say, I'm going to tell it got stinky because I sat there even a whole day. I said, I'm going to write. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I was determined to not let the devil to distract me from the focus that I needed all the way to the point. And then I wanted to make sure that every word came from the Lord. I wanted to make sure that there's none of me. It was very important to me that the word was coming directly from the Lord through me, my stories, to reach the readers, the audience. That was number one priority. And I did not know that was going to involve all nighter watching the sun rise but in this process, the Lord drew me closer and closer, and really permitted me to experience Him as truly the lover of my soul, the one that is so close when nothing was near, nothing was left, when all was gone. His remnants was what was remaining and shining, and that's true experience that I can speak to from experience and attest to, that the Lord is real and truly the lover of my soul, our soul.
Oh, Nicole, I love that. That is so beautifully put, because it's you set this determination of like, I'm not moving until we get this thing done, because that just is, life can be so full of so many distractions, especially it's like, I got to get this out. And especially if you're already digging deep and you weren't even sure where that was. And it just sounds like it was such an incredible process for you. So thank you for painting that picture as to why this one was different for you, what the Lord really brought you through. And so you can definitely read more, and you can go pick this up on Amazon to be able to read her particular chapter, as well as so many of the other amazing chapters. So before we jump off this, Nicole, I would love to hear any word of encouragement, whether it's through the story that you told inside of this amazing book, or even just the process of writing in general. I mean, there's probably so many words, but if you could pick one to leave our listeners with, what would you share?
I would say revelation, and just commit to saying yes to the Lord. Say yes, He'll do the rest. And when you say yes, you actually do not know what doors the Lord opens up. When you say yes, even for me, continually, He reveals things that was not there before. And so it gets me more excited. Once you experience that, you're like, oh, what new things is the Lord going to reveal to me this time? When you experience that enough, you look forward to it. Like, even though you don't know it, and it may be scary, it may be like, oh, new territory, frontier, but the Lord's going to meet you there. So my recommendation is, when you, especially writing a book, especially wrestling your personal things, the author is going to experience the most healing, the most nuggets. The gold is for you. It's a gift the Lord has wrapped in a bow, in a gift bag, ready to hand to you. It's like, let me gift this to you, my child. I have this for you. Will you receive it? As I prepared for you. And so my encouragement is, if you ever thought of writing a book and you don't know what to write, the Lord is going to give you the words. When you start the journey, He will reveal that to you. And that's the most exciting part of the journey.
That is beautiful. I love that. Just say yes and the rest will follow. And literally, like you mentioned, it's such a gift to the author, but then it's a gift that just keeps on giving, because other people get to read and resonate and know that they're not alone. We all go through things, but this is such an amazing book of overcoming as well. So congratulations on this amazing book, Amazon bestseller. So excited for all of you guys, and just really grateful to have you on the show today.
Thank you. And I'm excited to hear all the breakthroughs the Lord has for you. And so DM me those, and we share those breakthroughs, because when we share our story, we give Him the glory. And all glory to the Lord.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode. It means the world to me that you would lean in, listen in, and be able to hear the value that's being shared on this show. Don't forget, if you love this episode, rate the show, leave me a review, be sure to share it with a friend, and don't forget to tag me on social media. I will definitely be giving you a shout out. Also, come say hi, drop in the DMs. I would love to be able to hear what stood out to you the most on the episode, and if there's any topics that you would like to hear on the show. We'll see you next time.